Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 2 in the series between Lucifron and Mana. Game 2 taking place here on Ohana, as Lucifron has spawned as the green Terran player on the bottom right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Mouth Sports' Mana spawning as the orange Protoss on the top left. Protoss versus Terran, gonna be a very, very interesting game. Game 1. A 2 base timing coming in from Lucifron. I believe he did cut SCVs at some point, knowing that that was a 2 base timing all in, and also bringing in a couple SCVs to act as a bit of a meat shield. Very, very nicely done, as we are now moving here into Game 2. What will Lucifron bring to the table? Lucifron, a very, very well-known Warcraft 3 player, making a very strong showing in Starcraft 2 after the World Championship Series, representing Europe, him and his brother, playing extremely well. Now, we are going to be seeing Mana, and is Mana going to be going for that gateway expand again? That is going to be the question there. We'll see if an assimilator is warped in. If no assimilator is warped in, it is going to be that gateless expand as we mentioned, or as I mentioned moments ago. Nope, it will be an assimilator. And this will be a much more traditional build coming from Mana. Probe now on the hunt for any proxy barracks, won't find any because there's none to be found, as we now see Lucifron set up a front door supply depot, making sure that the probe is not going to be able to scout out the inside of the base. Now the probe could get off enough damage to destroy the supply depot, only has 55 hit points, but then again I think an SCV will be brought over here in time to finish constructing that supply depot, making sure that it doesn't get taken down. Marines now being trained as we are going into that second pylon here, waiting for that cybernetics core. There we go. And the SCV is going to spot this all. Probe, unable to get inside, is going to be playing in the dark for a little while. Not sure if his opponent is actually going for a very, very heavy, a very heavy tech build, or perhaps an economic build. SCV now actually making a trip back. A command center could be placed up on the high ground. Yes, I do think that will be the case, as a probe may actually sneak by. Does he spot that probe? Yes, he does. Oh, the probe may be able to make it in. Supply depot does go up, and the probe gets caught up there. Now, we should be seeing a Stalker warping in momentarily. Warp gate tech already started as well. We need to see a bunker here, and rather quickly. And Lucifron may have a strong economic advantage moving into the mid-game. Lucifron already starting up his command center, more than 40% done. It will lift off and land. SCV still doing a lot of scouting, as the SCV still scouting about here. There you go. What is that? I believe that's 19 SCVs. Yeah, 19 probes. We should be getting up a Nexus down here as well, taking a rather late expansion. It's so funny. Back in the day of the betas, a 4-minute 30-second expansion would have been that's a fast expansion. Now that's a little bit of a late expansion, as the meta game has changed and players have figured out how to expand and macro. Lucifron going up for a third command center, and this is a little bit of a mind game. Lucifron perhaps making Mana think that, okay, you don't know if I'm teching or if I'm going economy. You need to cover all of your grounds. Now, Mana sets up a Nexus of his own, and Lucifron, instead of trying to do some crazy tech behind this, is just going to be going into an economic game here, as the Stalker is not going to be able to charge up that ramp there. So the Stalker being forced to pull back. At this time, Lucifron still does not know if a Nexus has been placed down here. Has a fairly good idea, since this assimilator was just placed down, meaning there is no real chance of any very heavy tech play. Scouting, perhaps one of the most important aspects of Starcraft 2. Unlike chess, or unlike any of those, unlike many board games, you don't have infinite knowledge of what your opponent is trying to do. Now, you can get hints and glances of what they're doing based upon what you see in their base, but sometimes if you don't click on the assimilators to see how much gas has been harvested, or try to figure out their timings, you really don't know, overall, economically speaking, what is their long-term strategy. SCV was able to slip out away from this one particular Stalker, as we now see a bit of a front door seal by Lucifron. Lucifron does have that third orbital command. He does have that additional mule. He is going to have a much stronger economy going in as sentries catching an SCV, but Lucifron, being the smart, intelligent player that he is, perhaps knows that those 3 sentries are an indicator that there is less tech. You can see a Forge and a Twilight Council now just being placed down. That is rather late, as the sentries are trying to play a much more defensive game. Mana just lost off of a 2-base timing, and he wants to make sure that that does not happen again. Harvester count, 37 SCVs, 39 probes. More gas being taken as Lucifron really bunkering down, so to speak. 4 bunkers on the front door, 1 missile turret, and now just starting his first factory. He will need to get more production buildings. He is also slowing down his SCV production. Nope, just getting up a third one there. So if you are going for triple orbital commands, you should still pretty much constantly be training up SCVs just so you can start saturating this soon. I expect Lucifron to take down these destructible rocks in the next minute or so, as he will need to be able to move forward. Oh, a missile turret not constructed in time, and Mana gonna get a free look inside this base, and now pretty much sees everything he needs to see. The reactor, the starport going down. This observer sitting up under here. There is the Marines catching the flicker and able to shoot down that observer with little to no effort. Harvester count, 46 to 47. Normally at this stage, Protoss players need a lot more probes, but Lucifron actually about even and still training up more. I am surprised that Mana is not chrono boosting out anything. Even the upgrades would be a very strong course, as Mana has been free to get into Templar archives with Psystorm. That could be a very, very haunting surprise for Lucifron when he moves out with his Bioforce without Ghosts. Early High Templars before the 10-minute mark, and now Psystorm is pretty much ready. Marauders and Marines are on the move. You see one observer hiding off right there. Very difficult to spot, if not near impossible, when it is not moving. High Templar, 63 energy and growing. Proxy pylon is in position. These zealots will be charging in down off over here, and without medevacs, this Bioforce could get taken down relatively quickly. Medevacs are now just being trained. 1-1 upgrades will be completed by the next fight, but the sentries are not shabby at all. But the High Templars are now making their way down. This is going to be a horrible flank, exposing the main base. Here we go. Third base will get taken down. Force fields could be coming in. Marines now trying to come back around. They are not going to get it here, as a beautiful Psystorm catches many of those units out of position there. All right, what's going to be happening? There's some force fields, meaning all of these SCVs will need to run, and another force field gathered by a Psystorm. Beautiful hit. Marines now trying to make their way in. Medevacs just getting stopped up on top. Another Psystorm there, and wow, the Bioforces have not been able to engage at all. Archon now coming in. Worker kill count up to 20. And Mana struck while the iron was hot, dealing massive damage to the economy. And Lucifron's economic advantage, all of that early stage matchup has been lost, as Lucifron does have a very, very sizable army, but he may not want to actually try and move out to take it. Zealots do have charge. That is a very telltale sign. Zealots now moving back as well, so this could be a Zealot Archon strategy, as the Marauders and the Marines now looking to muster a counterattack. All right, Lucifron, perhaps knowing that he had the economic advantage for so long, perhaps believes that he still has the stronger army, even though he doesn't have a way to deal with these High Templars. No, he is going to be backing off. This could be a little bit of a bad sign here. Oh, in come the High Templars. There's some Psystorm. A whole bunch of dead Marines and Marauders again. And the losses are starting to mount up. There is an Archon now. Is that Archon going to make it? No, it will not. Gonna get destroyed, but not before a Guardian Shield goes up, and the Zealots still trying to charge in. Marines in a bit of a sticky situation. They should be in the back while the Marauders are in the front. High Templars now moving away once more. Can he get that Templar off as we are now going into the Mobius reactor for Ghost? Mana sitting on 69 Harvesters compared to 60 is running up on 3 bases. Zealots taking down the Destructible Rocks. Are we going into any additional upgrades? Yes, level 3 armor upgrades already getting researched, meaning that it is going to cancel out the level 2 weapons upgrade and even one up the level 2 weapons upgrade, meaning the Marines and the Marauders will be doing a lot less damage. The ball is pretty much in Mana's court at this time. We are fairly even, but the one bad sign for Lucifron at this point, the Colossus. The Colossus and the upgrades are such an important point. Lucifron is not going to be able to simply walk in and take out any of these forces. Lucifron is also perhaps doing a double expand. A Nexus should perhaps be placed down over here as well, making it very, very difficult for Lucifron to actually shut down any expansions attempt. You can see a drop has come into play, but Mana with very, very fast reaction time. Feedback onto that medevac. Medevac unable to really sustain that drop any longer, as we are going to be going into photon cannons here and here. Marauders and Marines making the trek back. We are at 2-2, soon to be 3-3 upgrades. 2-3 upgrades now being researched as Vikings are being added and thrown into that mix. Medevac, I don't believe this area is actually traversable. I don't think you can unload and actually heal all of those units on the top right-hand side of the map. Marines are going to catch this one pylon. It looks as though Zealots are warping in, and Zealots do have charge. Are they going to be able to chase after those units? No, yes, they will. Going after the target, and they charged all the way in, deciding not to do any damage. Now let's take a look. Lucifron still does not know about this base here, as the base is now fairly well saturated. You can take a look. 12 probes already, 4 more probes, and that will be at high efficiency, essentially. Ghost now, and 7 of them on the field. Marauders and Marines getting weapons upgrade, and now going into double command centers, perhaps for planetary fortresses, and also for planetary fortress and orbital commands. Is he going to try to do a double expand, or is he just going to move these command centers into a favorable location? All right, here we go. Lucifron now pretty much macroing up and having the stronger army again. Mana, not quite sure what's going on there, as we do see an observer go down. 8 Vikings still sitting in the air here. We'll see what will be happening next. We are getting into that gravitic boosters, so the observer should be able to get away a little bit faster. Marauders now making their way in, gonna be able to take down a photon cannon. No, decides not to, as a Zealot getting a little bit of damage in the back, and a final shot there. Here we go. There's the engagement. No blink on the... there is blink on those stalkers, but no blink from those stalkers so far, just quite yet. All right, taking a look at the composition of units. Marines, Ghost, all sticking in. The Marauders, small groups, and in comes some stalkers. They do blink forward, getting in some easy shots, taking down one of the Marauders, but the Marauders will get healed back up again. Medevacs doing their job, trying to prevent Mana from getting too much proper positioning. There you go, more Marauders coming in. Stalkers do need to back off here. Zealots are in position here. 4 Colossi ready to go with 2-3 upgrades, 3-3 upgrades nearing completion. We are going into ship weapon upgrades as well, as the Marauders still looking to back off here. Mana knows that his opponent has not taken this expansion, but they are actually expanding towards each other. Lucifron, with a planetary fortress here, should be looking pretty strong. Vikings now hunting down Colossi. Hunt for a red Colossus. Not quite successful, as that Colossus does still stay alive. Stalkers now going after it again. Guardian Shield, Psystorm. Double snipe, as the units are still continuing to attack. Zealots now looking to back away, and still observers now making their way in. Stalkers, photon cannon shooting down a Viking. A free Viking there, as Lucifron with 1-0 upgrade, soon to be 2-0, needs to take down those Colossi. Colossi, 3 of them are currently up. You can see more buildings now being added as well. Lucifron sitting on 4,000 resources will be able to pretty much replenish his resources in a matter of seconds. High Templar hiding in the brush. Does he spot this? Oh, there you go. EMP Shockwave, but not quite enough as the Zealots backing off. Vikings flying through the storm and taking a lot of damage there. Vikings once again getting shot down, and a beautiful game by Mana. I gotta say that he is really holding his own, even though he has a much smaller army. Lucifron now going into more command centers, perhaps for more orbital commands, and then freeing up some supply. It is at 72 to 73 SCVs. Orbital command here, so many production buildings by Lucifron. But Marines are not going to be that powerful. What are these Stalkers doing? Oh, able to take down one unit and then back away once more. All right, Zealots now charging in here. They're going to get taken down. And I think this is just a force from Mana trying to keep track of things. And here you go. There is a nuke. Where is that ghost? There it is. Is it spotted? The Observer does catch it in time. And down goes the... Oh, down... An Observer for a ghost and a nuke. Good trade by Mana again. All right, High Templar is now looking to back off. Where is this High Templar going to go? Nowhere, really. As we now see Zealots attempting to take down these orbital commands before they get up. Marines and the Marauders are being forced to pull back. I do believe that Lucifron is giving Mana too much respect for that low number of Zealots that have made a push here. Mana still does not know about this expansion. Lucifron does know about this expansion now. And what is happening next? High Templars. Could we see some Psystorm coming in? Zealots are underneath, preventing any sort of landing. And what is happening here? Here comes the large attack, and this might be a problem. Planetary Fortress force fields preventing any repairing. Vikings now underneath or over on top of that Psystorm. Damage has been dealt. So much Psystorm coming in. More Vikings getting taken down. And that is going to be a very, very heavy drop in Viking count. Vikings now down to 5 on the field. There are two nukes ready to go. 4 more Vikings being trained up right now. But Lucifron losing this planetary fortress and losing one of his main sources of income. Another nuke now being dropped down. Mana does not spot this. No line of sight. But the ghost does reveal itself. And is it going to get taken down? It is being healed. It goes down. There's that Psystorm. Both sides fighting. Medivacs now on the move back. Lucifron still doing a great job here and now continuing to push forward. Viking getting taken down. We are now going to see some flanks. What is happening here? The Marauders and the Marines do need to back off. The Stalker count is rather high. The units are rather low. Ghost not that effective against all of this. But there's that Psystorm. Vikings perhaps should be going into ground mode as we see some EMPs landing on top of all of those gateway units before they even get in range. Here we go. Mana looks to come back over the top. More units in production. Colossi, triple Colossi coming in. Ghost trying to counter the Colossi. That is not going to work as the units are still on the run. Vikings looking over. Observers now being brought over as well. Those ghosts don't stand a chance. Mana sitting on a 149. This battle has been going back and forth, but the Protoss ability to be able to replenish units so quickly was the defining factor here. All right, Ghost now getting taken down. Are we going to see a blink up? Yes, we are. Orbital Command, Medivacs now getting shot down. Lucifron down to 98 supply. This is not good for him. And a beautiful engagement by Mana. Really tipping the scales here. Lucifron still unable to land off a command center. You can see orbital commands are ready to go. The third base is nearly mined out. Natural expansion nearly mined out as well. Lucifron finally able to re-land a new orbital command here and is starting to strip mine this particular sets of mineral patches. That's going to be a very strong economy, but he has already lost many more workers. Those 8 mules really deceptive in terms of how strong Lucifron's economy is at this stage. Archons now coming in, Stalkers coming in, And what is going to happen? Lucifron just gives the GG, knowing that his forces cannot stand up to this massive Archon Colossus High Templar army. And there you have it. Protoss, one of the few races that can actually have more gas than minerals for their army and still be extremely effective. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 2. Please stay tuned for Game 3.